I got a feel-good story for you.
What else do you want the man to do?
We're counting down the best plays. How do you define success?
George Wrighster.
NBA preseason has tipped off, and I can't wait to see another drama-filled season of what I call the soap opera league. And here are the things that I'm interested to watch out for this year. First up, new faces in new places. Bradley Beal in Phoenix, Dame Lillard in Milwaukee, Chris Paul in the Bay, and the Rockets' three highest paid players were all on different teams last year. Logic and experience tell us that not all of these moves are going to work out the way that they were intended to, but that's the fun of the NBA. It's just as interesting when a big roster move works as when it blows up in everybody's faces. Now, the move that I'm most convinced will lead one of these teams to competing for a championship is Dame Lillard to the Bucks, because Giannis is the best player in the world, but he's limited scoring outside the paint. Chris Middleton will thrive as the second best number 3 in the NBA behind Bradley Beal, just like Andrew Wiggins did in Golden State, and Dame gets to hit daggers for Dame time. Now, speaking though of new faces, this crop of rookies is fascinating. Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, and Brandon Miller are all coming into situations where they can have the freedom to do great things from day one. There's no reason all three shouldn't be playing 30-plus minutes a game and putting up stat lines that we only saw out of Orlando's Paolo Banchero last year. Next though, the Wild Wild West. Last year, the Denver Nuggets finally put it all together, but how is this team going to act as a defending champion? Is Nikola Jokic still motivated enough to go out there and dominate, or does the thought of a long playoff run keep him away from his Siberian horses, make his late season effort a liability? Remember, it's harder to stay on top than it is to get on top. Just ask my Lakers, who are trying to get back to the mountaintop after 2020 and seem extra motivated by some of the back and forth that has come out of Denver. Now, to Nuggets fans, you're the champs. It's not a good sign that you spent all offseason thinking about us. The Lakers have seriously upgraded the role players around AD and LeBron, adding Gabe, Vincent from the Miami Heat, Christian Wood from the damn near every team in the NBA. And do you see the way this team is promoting Austin Reeves? They're expecting this man to break out this season, and I'm here for it. Meanwhile, the Warriors' biggest challenger this season will probably be Father Time. The average age of the top 8 players in their rotation is 33 years old. Will Chris Paul be able to assimilate around a bunch of guys that hated playing against him, or will some of those feelings carry over? And the other big storyline in the West is Ja Morant. He's got a 25-game suspension to try to behave himself and stay focused before we find out if the Grizzlies are a contender. Can Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose replace Ja's production? Will Brandon Clark play at all this season? And don't be surprised if last year's number 2 seed misses the playoffs altogether. Now, who would replace them? Well, on paper, Dallas looks like a contender, but I'm not sure this team has the work ethic to compete over a full season. How long before Kyrie Irving's boredom with the grind of showing up to his job on a daily basis makes Luka Doncic ask for a one-way ticket out of town? And if Kyrie is focused on basketball, his team is scary. Now, speaking of paper tigers, the Clippers. Do I even have to elaborate? Okay, fine. Kawhi Leonard hasn't been load managing. His knee just doesn't work. The Clippers need to prepare every single day like having him on the court is a nice surprise. He cannot be depended on, which means the success of this team falls squarely on the shoulders of the one man that spent all offseason hyping himself up as the potential MVP. That is Paul George. I actually like that Paul George is setting himself up like this. I like his beef with Devin Booker and that his confidence is at an all-time high. Now, do I actually think he has the pull in his own locker room to keep Bones Highland and Russell Westbrook from jacking up a combined 30 shots a game every time Kawhi Leonard takes a month off? No, but it'll be fun to watch him try. My last bold prediction for the Western Conference, Anthony Edwards is going to take such a big step forward that the Timberwolves front office is going to break up this team around him with proven vets. I don't care how much they have invested in Karl Anthony Towns or how much they gave up for Rudy Gobert. If the chemistry isn't there, they're going to have to blow it all up and show Edwards that they're committed to being supportive of him by any means possible. And make sure to stay tuned for my thoughts on the Eastern Conference. I'll drop those next week.